Hey there, friends. I'm here in the studio doing a little bit of work on our ThinkTown podcast. If you haven't seen it yet, go to ThinkTown Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And just happen to have this pop up over here. David Hogg, he's a grifter. He's somewhat of a carpetbagger, if you will. And he's taken advantage of the tragedy that happened back then to try to make money off of it. Created his own little group and all that. Interesting group. I get a kick out of them because they say stupid things. David is a dropout. He dropped out. He made a tweet that said, "You have no right to a gun. You are not a militia." Here again, the stupid misunderstanding of people who cannot apply any of the English language to different points. They're that uneducated where they don't understand that the English language has evolved over time and had different meanings based on phrases and punctuation and things like that in the past. He states, when you're talking about your Second Amendment rights, you're talking about a state's right to have what is today the National Guard. That's not true. Here he's talking about militia, and he immediately says it's talking about National Guard. Well, guess what? The Second Amendment doesn't say anything about National Guard either. So are we talking about the true meaning of what he thinks the English language means or not? Because it doesn't say National Guard in the Second Amendment, and we all know the militia does not apply to a National Guard in the state. He says the modern interpretation of 2A is a ridiculous fraud pushed for decades by the gun lobby. Well, actually, it's been pushed for centuries, not decades. This has been the law of the land for hundreds of years, okay? So get that straight. But I'm not taking my constitutional historical advice and leadership from a high school dropout. I'm not taking any advice from a carpetbagger, from a gypsy, so to speak. Probably the funniest thing about his tweet was the fact that it actually got fact-checked. You can see that the fact-checkers came at him with barrels blazing, if you will. Sorry for the pun. But this is the funniest thing in the world because this used to be a platform on Twitter where they would have been in control of all of the fact checkers, and they would have never had a fact checking on some kind of liberal garbage that was vomited out of some little gypsy like this's mouth. And now he's getting fact checked. This clown also came down and said, also, Bruin has to be one of the most illogical and stupid decisions ever put out by SCOTUS that 20 years ago, if turned in as a paper at almost any law school, would have gotten an F. Coming from a high school dropout, clearly he's seen his share of F-graded papers. Personally, I've never gotten an F-graded paper, so I wouldn't know what that feeling is like. However, when you're talking about a high school dropout and you put his resume next to those, even those wacko liberals who are on the Supreme Court, this guy is saying that they're stupid. We have a high school dropout stating that the likes of Clarence Thomas are stupid. Yeah, that's why I enjoy the entertainment of little David Hogg. Let's keep him around.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.